Yes, good morning, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Members of the press, the chairperson of the Energy Media Awards adjudication team, the Energy Regulation Board management and staff, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the Energy Regulation Board end-of-year media briefing and the 60th Energy Media Awards. Before I announce the winners of the year's awards, I wish to begin by reaffirming the Energy Regulation Board's commitment to improving its operations through robust and resilient systems that respond to the changing needs of the energy sector while giving priority to its internal and external stakeholders. During the year, the ERB has effectively implemented its mandate, and I wish to present some key highlights for the year as follows. Energy pricing. The ERB is mandated to determine, to regulate and review charges and tariffs in the energy sector stipulated in the Energy Regulation Act No. 12 of 2019. This mandate plays a critical role in ensuring that pricing of energy products and services in Zambia remain fair, transparent, and responsive to market conditions. Ladies and gentlemen, under the electricity subsector, during the year, the ERB approved the multi-year electricity tariffs for the first time since the enactment of the Electricity Act No. 11 of 2019. The approved tariffs were for ZESCO Limited and Northwestern Energy Corporation, NWEC, and covers a period of 5 years from 2023 to 2027. In addition, the ERB approved the introduction of a new tariff called the water pumping tariffs that targets the water utility companies that operating water pumping stations at different capacities. The ERB's objective of this measure is to improve access to clean and safe water, which is critical to national development. Further, the ERB capped the maximum demand under the retail customer category to 5,000 volt-amps or 5,000 kilovolt-amps, which is kVA, which entails that large power users requiring power capacities more than 5,000 kVA are now required to negotiate and enter into a power supply agreement with the distribution network service providers such as ZESCO, CEC, and NWEC. The objectives of capping maximum demand to 5,000 kVA is to ensure financial sustainability for the electricity utility companies through cost recovery, as well as ensuring an enhanced quality of service and supply to industrial and consumer customers that need quality and reliable power supply. Consequently, the ERB received and approved a number of power supply agreements during the year, including over 20 power supply agreements between ZESCO and the manganese mines and other small to medium-scale manufacturing entities. In July of this year, the governing body of the ERB and the board of directors of ZESCO Limited signed a key performance indicator framework, which is an important regulatory tool that is necessary to monitor the performance of the utility in providing quality service and supply to its customers. In developing this framework, the ERB took into consideration the need to ensure that the utility adheres to the ERB's license conditions and conforms to various standards and codes for enhanced service delivery. Therefore, each specific KPI was evaluated to ascertain its relevance in addressing ZESCO's operational problems, customer expectations, as well as meeting the ERB's license conditions. It is envisaged that as the industry migrates to cost-reflective tariffs, the utility shall steadily improve the supply of quality service to the expectation of consumers and other stakeholders. This KPI framework aims to ensure enhanced service delivery to the satisfaction stakeholders while assisting the utility to focus in reinvesting in its infrastructure and to embark on programs that would enhance efficiency through reduction of energy losses, operational costs, and maximize the utilization of the power station generation plants. The detailed results of the KPI audits are made available in the ERB annual reports and the energy sector reports, and these two publications are also available on the ERB website. In the petroleum subsector, in line with the government policy, the ERB continues to conduct monthly petroleum pricing reviews so as to ensure security of supply of petroleum products in the country. The monthly fuel price reviews are in response to the change in the procurement and supply of petroleum products in our country. As you may all be aware, the government is no longer involved in procuring petroleum products, while Indeni Refinery has been reconfigured into an oil marketing company and also will be undertaking biofuel blending going forward. Consequently, all the petroleum requirements of the country are now met through importation of finished products by oil marketing companies, basically the private sector. Further, Tazama pipeline has been converted to be a carrier of finished low-sulfur diesel, while petrol will continue to be ferried by road. With these changes, the monthly price reviews provide for full cost recovery for importers. This will guarantee security of supply of petroleum products on the Zambian market. In the first half of 2023, the prices of petrol, kerosene remained relatively stable, while the price of diesel reduced. The decrease in the price of diesel was on account of the reduction in the transport cost resulting from ferrying the product by pipeline as opposed to the more expensive route of using or transporting it by road. In the second half of 2023, the prices of petrol, diesel, and kerosene increased, mainly on account of the Organization of Oil Producing and Exporting Countries, OPEC, restricting crude oil supplies on the international market. Also, the continued war between Ukraine and Russia contributed to this. The ERB is committed to ensuring that the fuel pricing model that we are currently using continues to be responsive to any changes in the conduct of the market as well as stakeholders' concerns. Fuel stock monitoring or fuel stock supplies in the country. The ERB, in line with its mandate of ensuring the security of supply of petroleum products, conducts daily stock monitoring of petroleum products across the country. The ERB has set a desirable average of a 15-day stock cover for petroleum products in the country. Low-sulfur gas oil and petrol are the two most consumed petroleum products, accounting for 96% of the national consumption. The remaining 4% is shared among kerosene, jet A1, and heavy fuel oils. In the period from January to November this year, low-sulfur gas oil and petrol stock cover averaged 18 and 13 days respectively. Further, the average stock cover days for kerosene and jet A1 in the same period was 1,312 and 6 days respectively. The average stock cover for low-sulfur diesel and kerosene exceeded the ERB's desired minimum of 15 days stock cover, while it fell short for petrol and jet A1. As of 26 December, the average stock cover days were as follows: low sulfur diesel, 26 days, petrol, 14 days, kerosene, 1,071 days, and Jet A1, 9 days overall. So in 9 days. Overall, the country has had stable supply of petroleum products across the retail network and commercial sites in the current year. When it comes to licensing, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, the ERB issues licenses and construction permits to entities seeking to operate in the energy sector. Construction permits are issued to enterprises seeking to set up energy infrastructure, while standard licenses are issued to those that have set up their infrastructure and are ready to commence operations. During the period under the review, the ERB issued a total of 392 standard licenses. 166 were issued in the first half and 226 in the second half of the year. The increase in the number of licenses issued is a testament of the conducive environment for investment in the energy sector in the country. The standard licenses were issued according to the three subsectors as follows. Petroleum licenses, we issued 296. Electricity, we issued 10 licenses. Under the renewable energy subsector, we issued 86 licenses in the year. To ensure compliance in the siting and development of energy infrastructure, the ERB issued a total of 101 construction permits. That is 98%, representing 97% in the petroleum subsector, and 3% representing 3% in the electricity subsector. Enforcements. The ERB institutes enforcement action against non-compliance to license conditions through a process of monitoring, investigation, and penalizing licensees who breach their license conditions. Enforcement action is a necessary regulatory function, and it aims to protect the interests of the consumers, to ensure fair competition, provision of quality service, and protect and promote safety and fosters reliability in the energy sector. During the period under review, the ERB carried out enforcement action against 49 licensees, with penalty fines meted out against them. Out of those, 9 were operating without a valid license, and 40 were in contravention of their license conditions. Non-tax revenue collection. The ERB is charged with the responsibility to collect license fees as a non-tax revenue on behalf of the government of Zambia. In that regard, during the period under review, the ERB collected 468 million in license fees against an annual target of 463 million kwacha, thus exceeding our target for the year. Under technical regulation, ladies and gentlemen, the ERB is mandated to develop standards which are designed to ensure integrity, reliability, and efficiency of energy production, transmission, and distribution. The ERB also monitors the performance of licensees and enterprises in the energy sector to ensure compliance to set standards and regulations. Under the electricity subsector, during the period under review, the ERB conducted compliance inspections of 475 electricity distribution infrastructure countrywide. The overall compliance was found to be 77%, which was above the current regulatory target of 74%. Under the petroleum sector, the ERB monitors the efficiency and performance of licensees, having regard for the purpose for which they have been established. This is achieved by conducting compliance audits of the license undertakings. During the period under review, The ERB conducted infrastructure compliance audits as follows. The ERB inspected the Tazama pipeline from Ndola to Nakonde, 29 bulk petroleum product depots were audited, 482 filling stations out of the 536 were audited, and the average compliance rate attained for the said facilities was 93%. In addition, the ERB inspected 13 liquefied petroleum gas bulk facilities and 173 LPG retail facilities across the country. The average compliance attained was 94% and 80% for LPG bulk facilities and the retail facilities respectively, which was above the ERB target of 88 and 65% respectively. Quality performance in the energy sector. Under the electricity subsector, as per the Power Quality Management Framework, a total of 352 points on the interconnected power system in Zambia are required to be monitored for power quality and reliability. However, as at 31st October, only 300 sites were monitored and reported. In this regard, the ERB has already engaged the electricity licensees to ensure that they comply with the requirement of installing the outstanding power quality recorders. Nonetheless, the aggregated power quality performance for the reported sites was 76% against the current regulatory target of 75%. Under the petroleum subsector, the ERB conducts product quality sampling and analysis twice every quarter. Samples were collected from government depots and private-owned depots. This is to ensure compliance to the set Zambian petroleum product quality specification standards. The ERB collected a total number of 261 samples countrywide in the period under review. The overall product quality compliance score recorded for the year to date is 97%. The sustained compliance is attributable to the ERB's enhanced enforcement of the product quality control and monitoring guidelines and the implementation of the fuel marking program. With regards to the fuel marking program, ladies and gentlemen, the ERB continued to implement the fuel marking initiative in order to mitigate the illegal sourcing of fuel. In addition, fuel marking aims to curb adulteration, a vice that compromises the quality of fuel. Further, the initiative also curbs dumping and smuggling of fuel into the country, being devices that promote an even and fair competition in the petroleum subsector. During the period under review, a total of 1,278,372 cubic meters of fuel was marked, and 5,475 samples were collected and tested at filling stations and consumer facilities with a view to ascertain compliance in the downstream. An overall compliance rate of 99.2% was attained, which was above the set target of 97%. The ERB remains resolute to ensure 100% compliance and since commenced enforcement action against the licensees that were found to be non-compliant. With the changes in the petroleum supply chain model, the ERB is in the process of implementing revised measures that will enhance effectiveness of the fuel marking program. These include introduction of on-site fuel quality sampling and testing throughout the petroleum supply chain. This is aimed at enhancing fuel quality monitoring and complaints resolution. During the period under review, the ERB facilitated and conducted raids on illegal fuel vending spots in Lusaka with a team of security wings and law enforcement agencies, resulting in the seizure of 21,815 liters of fuel and arrest of 27 suspects. Out of these, 1 has been convicted, 4 are still in court, and 22 are yet to be charged. Under the renewable energy subsector, in order to promote the use of biofuels in the national energy mix and to ensure the utilization of biofuels in the energy market, the ERB has finalized the standards for biofuels for blending purposes. The ERB further finalized the development of standards for biomass pellets and associated gasifier cook stoves, and this is aimed at ensuring quality, safety, and reliability of energy supply whilst accelerating access to clean cooking solutions. The standards were developed in consultations with relevant stakeholders within the subsector. Consumer complaints, ladies and gentlemen, the Energy Regulation Board has continued to promote the consumer agenda as provided for in the Energy Regulation Act No. 12 of 2019 through the receipt, investigation, and determination of complaints that emanate from the provision of products and services in the energy sector. In that regard, during the reporting period, the ERB handled a total of 521 complaints and facilitated for the resolution of 215, representing a resolution rate of 41%. In order to contextualize according to subsectors, from the 521 complaints handled, 466 complaints emanated from the electricity subsector, translating into 89% of cases captured. From this number, the majority of complaints under the electricity subsector related to delayed new service connections as well as power interruptions and outages. From the petroleum subsector, 50 complaints were recorded, representing 9.6% of the cases handled. And lastly, the renewable energy subsector recorded 5 complaints, standing at 1% of the total complaints handled in 2023. The major complaints included fuel contamination, holding, and location of petroleum infrastructure. In a bid to secure a quick turnaround time for the resolution of complaints, the Energy Regulation Board continued to hold complaints meetings to address matters that remained unresolved beyond agreed service level agreements. The meetings accorded both the licensees and the consumers a platform to appear before the Complaints Committee of the ERB. Based on the foregoing, the Energy Regulation Board facilitated for the holding of 31 complaints meetings, of which 23 were from the electricity subsector and 8 from the petroleum subsector, respectively. In order to enhance visibility and awareness among stakeholders, the ERB undertook awareness programs, which among them included exhibitions, mobile office outreach programs, awareness town hall meetings, college debates, and school visits. To that end, during the period under review, the Energy Regulation Board carried out 161 awareness activities throughout Zambia. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, the ERB aims to foster an enabling environment for energy providers and consumers by embracing new and emerging trends through agile and efficient business processes. Furthermore, the ERB will invest in the right technology, streamline business processes, enhance policy and regulatory frameworks, and integrate a risk and performance culture. Thank you for your attention, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much, DG. At this particular time of the program, colleagues from the media, we afford you an opportunity to ask questions. If there are any questions, or do you have any burning issues
That's fine.
that you want the DG to address, this is the time. So I'll take them in 3. Questions, colleague? So we'll start with from Phoenix.
Good morning once again. Some technocrats have observed that subsidizing of fuel may not be possible starting next year, looking at the fact that already it's been a challenge for this year. I wanted to find out from Erb if there are any plans to find alternative sources of subsidizing this sector. And the other one is Zambia's population is growing, and we are seeing new townships coming up, new housing units coming up, as well, and also the country is also seeing new industries coming up. And looking at ZESCO alone and a few independent power producers, I understand this may not be adequate. So I want to find out if there are any plans, required plans to attract investments in the sector. Thank you.
We may probably take one more.
My question is, are we likely to see the board stop reviewing the monthly practice that has been there for fuel going forward? 2024?
Thank you. DG, those are the three questions.
So thank you very much for those questions. So the question of subsidy of fuel is basically a government policy position. Our model does not provide for any subsidies at all, so it provides for full cost recovery. So your question was that going forward, is there any ways in which we can basically find alternative cheaper fuel? I suppose that's really the question, isn't it? So there are certain steps that are being currently undertaken by government. One of them, I think I briefly mentioned in my statement, which is to do with the introduction of biofuel. Biofuel is locally produced, and if it is produced in certain quantities, it should be able to be blended into petrol and bring down the price of petrol. The advantages of biofuel being a local product is that you do not need forex to produce it. Currently, our petroleum industry is basically it's a dollar industry. We import all our petroleum products from abroad, and you need dollars to do it. If you introduce a locally produced fuel, it does have the potential to basically reduce the price of fuel going forward. The introduction of the Tazama pipeline has brought in efficiencies in the transport costs, and that has already translated in a reduction in diesel. If Tazama pipeline was not in place today, the price of diesel would be much, much, much higher, because the cost of trucking diesel from Dar es Salaam or Beira is much higher. So what the pipeline has done is it has basically introduced efficiencies in the transport rate, and that has translated in a reduction of diesel. However, the Tazama pipeline can only transport 80% of our demand. So currently, plans are underway to increase the capacity of the Tazama pipeline so that it can pump 100% of our demand, which would then entail that we can pass the full benefit of the reduced transport rate to the consumer going forward. Government also plans to put in place another pipeline that will transport petrol by pipeline, and also then that also bring in efficiencies in the transport rates for petrol, and that will then translate in a benefit coming to the consumer going forward. With regards to the procurement system itself, which also relates to the question that I was asked about whether we can revert to a more longer pricing cycle than the monthly one. What will need to be done is that we will need to procure a product which will last longer than a month. Currently, we buy product which lasts for 1 month, so we need to price it for 1 month. If we can have sufficient storage facilities in our country, and if the private sector also come in to play ball, so to speak, then there should be a possibility where we can basically import products to last longer than 1 month. In that case, we can then price for 2 months or 3 months, depending on whether the product has already been imported to cover that particular period of time. The reason we have to do it monthly now is because the price of the international market changes basically every day. Our exchange rate also changes on a daily basis. And I said the petroleum sector is a dollar-based business. We need dollars to import the product. So we need to ensure that for full cost recovery, our pricing model needs to respond to the changes on the market. So in addition to that, we are looking at modalities in increasing our pricing cycle. It is a matter that is currently under active study by our experts. Once they complete their study, we can then present something to government to look at, to see whether we can increase our pricing cycle to 3 months. But it's a matter that is currently being looked at actively within the ERB. With regards to demand for electricity and whether there are plans to increase investment in the electricity subsector, yes, it is true that the demand for power is increasing. We've got new mines which are coming on. We've got new industries that are coming in place. And I think in my statement I did indicate that there is an increase in the number of licenses and construction permits that we've issued, which is basically an evidence or testament that investors are interested in investing in our country. So from the ERB where we sit, we already got in place all the regulatory tools which an investor needs to enable him to acquire a license to operate in the country. Government on the other side has developed an integrated resource plan, which is a plan which can assist an investor in which area he needs to invest, whether he wants to invest in solar, whether he wants to invest in wind or hydropower. That integrated resource plan is a tool that an investor can use to identify sites where such investments can go. The other thing that investors always want is to be able to develop a project and then be able to sell their services at a price that will recover their cost of investment. So always the complaint has been on our load tariff in our country. So ZESCO will not buy power from an independent power producer who is selling at a price that ZESCO, once they buy it, ZESCO will make a loss. So the multi-year tariff framework that I indicated in my statement basically provides for a slow migration to cost reflectivity. And I think once we reach that point, we should see more investments in the electricity sector coming on board. But currently, we do have a lot of interest from developers in solar. We've approved quite a number of power supply agreements and power purchase agreements between ZESCO and potential investors in the solar business. So we can provide further details exactly of how many power purchase agreements that the board has approved just this year, which basically again indicates that investment is basically coming in the renewable energy sector in our country. I hope I've covered those questions fairly.
Thank you, DG. Colleagues, maybe we take in 2 more in the interest of time. There are no questions and we can move. Maybe we take 1. Indulgence.
Sure.
When wanted to ask on talk about this that occurs in terms of new customers wanting to connect to electricity in terms of ZESCO. On this one, I'm very much concerned because I've experienced it. So what is the board doing in order for people who want to connect to electricity to be attended to in a short period of time? Thank you.
So that problem has been, especially last year, it was a major concern for us as well, because from the information we got from ZESCO, there was actually a very large backlog of customers who have had applied, paid, and we were basically waiting to be connected. One of the challenges that ZESCO was facing, of course, was that the connection charges that they were charging before were not cost reflective. And if you recall, last year ZESCO did apply to have the connection charges increased, and the board did approve that application. From the information that we received from ZESCO in this quarter, is that they've dismantled basically 90% of that backlog, and all new connections or all new applications that they are receiving, they are addressing those immediately they receive them. They did indicate to us that they've since outsourced that business to contractors, so I think to improve efficiencies as well. And I think in the coming next quarter, in quarter one of 2024, we should see basically this problem going away once those contractors are fully on board in assisting ZESCO to connect applications that come through. It was a major concern to us last year as well as part of this year, but we've seen improvements on the electricity company in addressing this particular problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DG. That wraps up this session for the question and answer session. We'll now go, I want to mention, colleagues, that we'll make available the statements to you once the briefing is done. Now we move to another session of our program. Like I had indicated in the opening of this program, is that the Energy Regulation Board gives out awards to deserving media personnel who excelled, especially in reporting on energy-related matters. At this particular time, I want to invite the chairperson of the Education Committee, Miss Katendi Wandi, to give us her remarks concerning her awards. Ms. Wandi.
Thank you very much. The Director General, ERB, members of the ERB management, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great pleasure to share with you some observations made from the judging process of the Energy Regulation Board ERB Media Awards 2023. The panel of judges comprised 4 members who included media professionals, an energy financial analyst, and an engineer. These were Ms. Jen Chira from the Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Zambia, Mr. Zephania Mwanza, Engineer Humphrey Ngwale, both from the Energy Regulation Board, and myself from the Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA, as chairperson. The panel received a total of 34 entries in 4 categories, namely Best Electronic Coverage, Television, Best Electronic Coverage, Radio, Best Print Media Coverage, and Most Consistent Energy Coverage. However, one entry was disqualified on the basis that it did not meet entry criterion. I wish to hasten to say that the criterion used to select the winning entries was based on accuracy of the information, initiative, originality, innovation, audience engagement, and creativity. I would like to assure all the entrants to the ERB Media Awards that we thoroughly assessed each of your work in the different categories. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to now draw your attention to the judges' main observations from the judging process, beginning with the strengths we identified. We noted that there was generally favorable response to the awards. Salient issues in the energy sector in the 3 subsectors, namely petroleum, electricity, and renewable energy, were reported on. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the strengths observed, the judges agreed that there were some shortcomings, which included the lack of multiple sources, as diversity of sources remained short across. Inclusion of multiple sources enriches stories. In addition, most of the stories also lacked in-depth research. Distinguished guests, following the adjudication process, the judges wish to recommend the following: creation of an online media category. This category is key because we are in an era where online media is flourishing and is a timely mode of transmitting information. Secondly, hold a post-award workshop to capacitate the media. This will enable the media authoritatively report on issues in the energy sector. Ladies and gentlemen, as I end, I would like to thank all the journalists that participated in this year's ERB Media Awards. I also wish to thank the Energy Regulation Board for this initiative, which aims at encouraging media coverage of energy matters as regulated by the ERB in order to increase their awareness. Furthermore, I wish to thank the Media Institute of Southern Africa, MISA Zambia, and the Independent Broadcasting Authority, IBA, for their support and commitment to the growth of a professional and ethical media industry in Zambia. I wish to congratulate all the finalists and wish you the best. To the journalists that will emerge winners, congratulations. To those that will not be awarded today, please keep trying and do not give up. I thank you, and may God bless you.
A round of applause. Thank you so much. So how we're going to proceed, the formalities will be as follows. I'll request the high table just to stand behind our backdrop. Then the award will be presented from there. Then I'll request the camera people, you can take your position just here so that you can get your best shot. Yes. Most importantly, we would want to mention that we have partners on board, and the Copper Belt Energy Corporation came through. They are sponsoring some awards. Thank you so much. So how we're going to proceed is that there were entries in the print category, electronic, then there was also the most consistent energy coverage. So the CEC is sponsoring first prize in print as well as first prize in radio. So this is how we're going to proceed. So the first prize print winner for the best energy feature is Mutinta Mwemba from Zanis. So that's a proxy for Mtinta Mwemba. So Mtinta walks away with a 10,000, and that prize is sponsored by the Copperbelt Energy Corporation. Yes. Pardon? Yes. Probably should want to say something.
Thank you and good morning. Allow me to recognize all the protocols that have already been observed. From a CEC perspective, we're very happy to be part of this morning's award ceremony. Of course, we've done it on the back end of being a partner to the Energy Regulation Board, but also recognizing the important work that the media do in telling our narrative for the industry and for CEC as well. So we're very pleased to be here, and we are happy to be able to give these awards to the well-deserving media partners. Thank you.
Thank you. That's fine. So the second prize in the same category is Chatura Kangali from Times of Zambia. The proxy for Chatura Kangali. Thank you so much. We move to another category. This one is also sponsored by the Copperbelt Energy Corporation. And this is the first prize in radio. And this award was scooped by Eni Kashiki from YFM. That's proxy for Eni Kashiki. So this, the first prize category is also sponsored by the Copperbelt Energy Corporation. Thank you so much, CEC. So she gets a whopping 10,000 kwacha. We move on. The other category is first prize, and this is television, and this has been scooped by Masauso. Let's say the second prize, radio. Let's stick to radio. It's Patrick Mupeta from Radio Ichengelo. Patrick Mupeta. The proxy will collect. So for emphasis, this is second prize radio. Patrick Mupeta. And the proxy, Paul Shalala, will pick up that prize. Thank you so much. We move on. So we go to the TV category. And in the TV category, the first prize is Masauso Mukwayaya from ZMBC. He's done quite extensive coverage on energy matters. Masauso Mukwayaya, another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. The second prize in the same category, this is television. Please take note. Television is Kondwani Mapulanga from Millennium TV. Kondwani Mapulanga has done also quite extensive coverage on energy matters, and specifically it's on renewable energy. It's done quite a number of stories on that. A very, very important subsector. Another round of applause for Honorable Mapulanga. Thank you so much. And the last one, and not the least, of course, is the most consistent energy coverage, and this goes to Paul Shalala from ZNBC. He's done quite, he's been consistent in reporting on energy matters. He's done quite a number of TV features. A round of applause for Paul Shalala. Thank you so much. And that wraps up our awards ceremony. And thank you so much, High Table, colleagues from the media. You probably would want to we could have the winners take a photo opportunity with the High Table. So I call upon all the winners. Probably you can join the High Table for that photo op.
Are you taking?
Okay, that wraps up our program, but High Table colleagues from the media are invited for some refreshments. We have refreshments being served in the lobby, and thank you so much.
Pressure office, but then clarifications on that. You can take a shot.